Our headlines today. New analysis shows more than 1,700 people in the UK could be living with undiagnosed hepatitis C after receiving contaminated blood transfusions decades ago.
There are people still out there that have the virus that haven't been picked up until now, and that's really quite shocking.
Sir Keir Starmer faces a backlash from some of his MPs for allowing former Conservative Natalie Elphicke to join the Labour Party.
Efforts to clean up England's rivers, lakes and seas have been criticised as poor by an environmental watchdog.
And it's a decision that will be closely watched by people with mortgages. Will the Bank of England cut interest rates today?
3 men in Greater Manchester have been arrested on suspicion of planning terrorism offences. Officers carried out raids across Bolton and Wigan. The men aged 35, 36 and 51 are in custody and being questioned by detectives. The arrests are part of an ongoing investigation. A landslide has forced work to stop at a wind farm site in Shetland. The energy company SSE confirmed the peat slip happened in an area of hillside on Tuesday afternoon. No one was injured, but an investigation is underway to assess the extent of the damage. Student maintenance in England covers just over half of the minimum income a university student needs to live on, according to new research. The Higher Education Policy Institute says it leaves parents needing to pay out up to £14,000 a year.
There's nothing worse than feeling like you're missing out on a party, especially when that party is at Buckingham Palace. Well, that's what happened to charity fundraiser Tony Hudgell. He got stuck in traffic on the motorway.
So his mum, Paula, tweeted their disappointment not being able to attend. There you go. Just as Tony was about to go to bed, they got their response on X, formerly Twitter, from the Palace. There you go. Sorry to hear this, Tony, exclamation mark. We're looking forward to seeing you too.
Fancy trying it again another day. Leave it with us. Now, if the Palace says leave it with us, you kind of got to trust it, haven't you?
So it's going to happen again. It's been rescheduled for another day. That must be so frustrating. What a day.
I know.
And it would have been a beautiful day yesterday, the sunshine, but it'll be reconvened and they'll go at a different date.
Lovely,
Nice.
lovely. Let's bring you up to date with what the papers are leading with. Let's start with The Guardian, saying that hundreds of scientists pointing to global temperatures which will rise by at least 2.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Now, it's something it says will cause, and I quote, catastrophic consequences for humanity and the planet.
Let's have a look at the Telegraph front page, saying eating ultra-processed meat is being linked to a greater risk of an early death. It says a Harvard study found that the highest risks were associated with the most processed meats like sausages and ham, which could lead to a 13% higher risk of death.
The Mirror says King Charles and Prince Harry were just 2 miles apart yesterday, but didn't see each other. The King was at the Palace garden party, whilst the Prince was at an Invictus Games event in St Paul's Cathedral.
They do say, don't they, that good things come in small packages. What about this?
Oh.
Very small. These tiny but perfectly formed artworks are from the Small is Beautiful exhibition in Milan, said to be the largest display in the world, dedicated to miniature art. It's almost... You need to see more context, really, to understand just how
Well, there's a
small
pencil.
this piece is.
That's a pencil tip on the right, see?
Rather like
The end of a pencil.
rather like that.
So you can see how big those penguins, or how small those penguin models are.
On the subject of small art, it's maybe not quite so sophisticated. I read in the this is in the Guardian today that there is installation at a affordable art fair, Hampstead in North London, which is basically they've mounted sardine tins on the wall as an art exhibition.
But they can be very beautiful.
Who doesn't love a tin of sardines?
Well, I do. I did buy some tins of sardines when I was abroad once, and they were very beautiful, and I kept the tops.
Well, they are. They're little works of art.
I'm an artist, I didn't know it. Talking of the artistic world, Ludwig van Beethoven, right? OK, famous composer, obviously. He had a penchant for fish and wine. Nothing wrong with that, really.
In tins. Is there a connection?
He had a penchant for fish and wine, right? He lived near the Danube, and at that time when he lived, it was known to be really polluted, right? So what they've done, scientists have done, Harvard scientists, have got locks of his hair confirmed as belonging to him and examined it, And they've analysed it and found the hair to contain levels of lead 95 times higher than usual. What's the consequence of this? Well, they say although that amount of lead wouldn't have killed Beethoven, it was likely to have caused illness which may have manifested as hearing loss. So one of our most famous composers, you know, in the world of classical music, could have been deaf.
Could have been related to polluted rivers.
I don't think he was eating tinned fish out of the river Danube. But he liked fish and wine. So it's just a warning. Interesting, because we're going to be talking about polluted rivers, aren't we, later in the
Absolutely.
programme. So everything ties together on this programme, obviously.
Good morning from BBC London. I'm Victoria Hollins. The Met Commissioner says police officers are responding to more crimes like burglaries and car thefts because they're responding to fewer mental health incidents. The right care, right person approach was introduced 6 months ago and means officers will only respond when there's a serious risk of harm. Some charities have raised concerns that vulnerable people could fall through the gap, but the Commissioner says it's been a success.
People in mental health crisis are getting the right people coming to support them, people with health skills and experience from LAS and others, so that's fantastic. But from a policing perspective, we're not sending police officers in to criminalise people in mental health crisis. That's freeing up thousands of hours. So we've got sort of maybe 6,000 deployments we're not doing. We're attending more scenes of robberies. We're making more arrests of people for knives.
Hundreds of thousands of pounds in refunds have been issued to passengers in London due to so-called device clashes during the past year, according to data. It happens when a passenger uses one device or cards to touch in at the start of a journey, but touches out using another. Passenger watchdog London Travel Watch said the figures were startling. Transport for London said it equates to less than 0.001% of its annual revenue collected via contactless pay-as-you-go. Children from some of London's primary and secondary schools have been putting their words to music with the help of renowned composer Alexis French. Working with the charity Restore the Music, the musician wants to bring music to some of the most underserved parts of the UK.
Deforestation is giving us less species of animals and plants that we will never find. It's cutting down our trees.
What's been particularly beautiful was just to have them articulate, whether it be through words or through song, how they feel about the world.